What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the California Only Challenge here. Of course, featuring Stanford, as they are my favorite team. But yeah, first episode of Season 2. Had some good parts, had some bad parts. Obviously, you could tell we're 0-4, so we haven't won a game yet. But our rookie receiver, Junior Generals, has just taken off. Had a tremendous first 4 games, at least. I think one of them was like 6 catches for like 100 and something yards and a couple touchdowns. A really good first impression from him, and hopefully we could build on that, as well as some other players who had some good performances, and just in general try to get better. We are only a 76 overall across the board, offense, defense, and just overall we are 76. Today we will be going through week 5 through week 8. So we have the Jaguars, the Cardinals, Raiders, and Broncos to play today. So quite a few, or at least 2 division games, and then 2 non-division games. And we'll kind of jump around a little bit with them. Jaguars, we might watch a bit, as they are 2-2. This might be a good opportunity for us to get a win in. But first, I want to take a look at the players that we need to negotiate with, at least throughout this whole season. First two 35-year-olds, Richard Sherman and Everson Griffin. Probably won't be resigning them. Maybe Sherman, because we don't have much in terms of safety, that second safety option. We have Reed, and Reed is fantastic and will definitely be a career in terms of this series, hopefully, safety for us. Sherman, not so much. He might retire. He might just regress a lot as well. Griffin, similar situation. Might retire, might regress a lot. We don't have a current backup yet, but there were quite a few defensive tackles, if I remember correctly, in the current class that we have that we could potentially pick up and have play at the right end spot. Considering we play a 3-4, it would fit well. Tyson Alualu, very similar, might retire. Lewis Marshall, he's been our slot corner, and there's not a whole lot of high-talented corners available to pick up, either in free agency or in the draft, so we'll probably prioritize re-signing him. Nate Gordon, he was a undrafted rookie receiver, so we'll try to keep him around for sure. Simi Fehoko, we definitely will. He's our slot guy. He's one of the guys I'm definitely trying to build around. And Darren Hall, another young guy at corner. He's not necessarily in the starting spots yet, but he is really young, only 22 years old in this current season. Ratings definitely need to improve, but he's a young guy we could try to build around. So again, another guy I would like to keep around. So most of these guys aren't huge impactful players. I would say the biggest 2 that we need to worry about is Lewis Marshall and Simi Fehoko, as they are starters for us. But outside of those, not going to do any negotiating right now, especially with the older guys being the only ones we can really negotiate with. We'll wait, do it later in the season for the ones we definitely want to keep around. And then for the few we're questionable about, we'll wait till the offseason. So I'm going to run through some of like the weekly strategy stuff, get that taken care of. We'll probably jump into the second half of this Jaguars game. Welcome into the first game of today's episode. We're in the second half. To start really the second half, to skip the kickoff, where we are up against the Jaguars 14-3, and I wouldn't say they're doing too well. It looks like Josh Allen is their quarterback, only throwing about 50% on the day. We're up, so far looking pretty good. And they're going to stay out in the shotgun formation. 3 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom. And they're going to be going for a pass, kind of running around like a chicken with his head cut off. And we're going to get the sack. And that is going to be Tack McKinley. I believe the first sack we've seen from him this season. I don't believe we have had too many sacks just in general. But nice to see one of our signees paying off here. On third and long, 3rd and 16 from the 21. And again, stay on that shotgun. They got 2 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom, and a tight end. Going to dump it off to the running back, who has a little bit of space. Going to get brought down by Reed after getting back to about the original line of scrimmage, plus a little bit. We'll bring up a 4th and 8, and they will be punting this one away. And following that punt, our offense takes the field at the 28, coming out with a bunch formation at the bottom of the line here. Dropping back to pass is Mills. He's going to find a wide open Schultz. He's going to cut up field and get about 9 yards or so on first down. Mills not having an awful game, not great. 10 of 18 for 123 yards, I think that's said. So not great, but not as bad of a performance as we've seen before. And we'll come out in a pistol on 2nd and 1. Have 1 receiver to the top as well as a tight end. McCaffrey goes right down the middle. He pounds through number 70. Gets the first down to the 41. We're going to run a little bit of hurry up here. Got a bunch to the bottom. Another lone receiver to the top. That might have been Ertz at the top. And check it down to JJ. And I don't know if he held on. They say he does. He just threw the ball away after he got tackled there. Come out with a tight formation here. And not a bad job from number 30 for the Jaguars. McCaffrey not off to a great game. 16 rushes, 54 yards. Does have a touchdown, though. And on 3rd and 3, we're going to hand it off to him. And that's close. Going to depend on the spot. And they're going to call it 4th and inches. If I was fully in charge, I'd go for it. But I have a feeling they might be punting away. And indeed, it looks like we are. The ball looks like it's basically past the line to gain, so that sucks. But punting away, it's going to go out of bounds at about the 16, so not a bad punt from Jake Bailey. And with us up 2 possessions as of right now, we'll go into a little bit of a quicker sim here, and that didn't take long. That really didn't take long. 3-point game, 14-11, following a huge run by, I believe it was Dobbins, and then a 2-point conversion as well. Well, we'll see if our offense can answer back. Defense played really good up to that point. Just 1 mistake, and it really goes to show how a game can shift really quickly. Going to hand the ball off to McCaffrey here, who should have bounced it outside a bit sooner. Said we're going to lose 2 on first down. Tackle number 30 in the backfield. Loss of 2. And we'll come out with 3 receivers to the top. Looks like Schultz alone to the bottom. We're going to do some play action here. Gonna have a guy over the middle. That was Junior Generals, not able to hold on to that one. So we'll get back to the line pretty quickly here. Got a bunch to the top. 1 lone receiver at the bottom. 3rd and 12, and we're gonna dump it off. McCaffrey had some space, but cut it up too soon. Should have used that open grass to the right and just flow towards the first down, but gotta blame Madden a little bit on that. They don't really know how to run very well. 4th and 2 from the 35. I'm pretty sure we got a punt coming up. I want to get closer to the 4th here, get into the 4th. Game's pretty close, still 3-point game. Dobbins goes for 5 here, 3rd and 5, and Everett gets the completion. Of course, tight ends always do well against me. Josh Allen pass thrown away, 6 yards to Cedric Wilson, gets them another first down here. Everett, tight ends doing the work. Cedric gets 9, and they're getting close to red zone, 28-yard line. Sack, Solomon Thomas. Again, haven't seen too much of those, and Hardman basically gets all that back and more, being a first down. 2nd and 10 from the 17, down to the 12 now. Everett, another reception. We will get the stop on that 3rd down. We'll force a field goal attempt, which will tie this game up. Into the 4th quarter, we are 14-14. Really need our offense to step it up a little bit. They had a decent first half. Most of our points came in the 2nd quarter, or I think all of our points came in the 2nd quarter. Haven't seen much in the 3rd. Would like to see a bit more in the 4th. On 2nd down, a lot of shotgun formations for us. 2 receivers to the top. Looks like another 2 probably at the bottom there. Going to hand it off. McCaffrey, just no blocking on the edge. 99 gets around and gets the tackle. Maybe back to about the original line of scrimmage. Or not the original, but previous line of scrimmage. We'll have that bunch at the bottom. Probably Ertz. I think it's Ertz at the top. We'll go for a quick pass. This one does go, I believe, to Ertz for a first down. Down to the 40. We'll keep this drive alive. Keep a scoring hope alive as well. Maybe drain some clock would be nice. Switching over to a weak formation here. Fullback to the left. Also have 2 receivers at the bottom of the screen. Have some nice blocking up front, but not a whole lot of yards to show for it. Maybe 3-4 on the first down. And we'll stay in a similar situation, or formation. This, instead of a fullback, bring out another receiver, dump off McCaffrey, and I think we're going to lose about 2 yards on that. Yeah, definitely going to lose 2. 3rd and 8. Number 30 does a nice job of getting that tackle, basically as soon as the ball is caught. I'll bring up a 3rd and 8. Got a fair few amount of receivers out there, as well as a backup running back. And again, we're cutting up too soon. If Simi Fehoko just catches that and runs, we have space on the outside, but as soon as they catch it, they try to cut up, and they get the tackle there. 4th and 3 from about the 47. Most likely, I'm assuming Madden's going to tell the team to punt here. And indeed, they come out in punt formation. We'll see if they actually punt, and yes, they do. Jake Bailey bombs it down to about the 20-ish? 23, so not a great punt. Would have liked that more closer to like the 5, if we're being honest there. We'll watch this defensive drive here, see if we can make a big play, a stop, force a turnover, something here. Try to bring a little bit momentum. So they're going to go for a run to the outside. Martinez there, but they're going to get about 5-6 yards after contact. Or not after contact, but about probably 3 or 4 yards after the contact. Dobbins having a pretty good night. Going to get the first down and a little bit more, down to the 35. 9 rushes, 132 yards, and a touchdown. Of course, about 80 of those yards were all on 1 touchdown run he had. Now they're coming out in an empty set. 3 to the top, 2 to the bottom. We're only rushing 3, and Martinez couldn't sit underneath Everett. Just left him wide open, basically. 2nd and 3. 3 tight end formation, 2 of them to the top. Most likely a running formation, but no, they're going to do a little bit of play action. And they're going to find Dobbins open, close to the first down. Could be a 3rd and inches. They're going to give him a first down. No home field advantage here for us, as they will continue their drive. Most of their receivers at the bottom of the screen. And they're going to find number 14 for another first down. Linebacker's a little slow to react so far, at least from what we've seen. That was Chris Godwin on the reception. And another quick pass. Godwin again. Was hoping they were going for the guy who had a linebacker glued to him, but nope. Good read from Allen. They're about in field goal range. 2 minutes remaining. They have 3 tight ends out, 2 to the bottom, a lone receiver to the top. And hand that off to Dobbins, who has some open running space down to about the 22. Running a little bit of fast-paced offense here. And they'll hand it off again. Dobbins gets close, fights for it, stretches for it, and should be another first down. 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining as they come out in goal line at the 20. Interesting play call. We're going to need to start calling some timeouts soon if we want any shot of taking this game late. And there's the timeouts. They'll continue to stay out in a heavy set formation. 3 tight ends, 1 receiver to the top. They're going to stretch it to the outside. Bad angle, close to the first down, but we should have gotten that tackle, and we'll call our second timeout. 3rd and 1 from the 11. 1 timeout remaining for us. They got a tight bunch formation here. It looks like they're going to hand it off, and that's just wide open running space on a critical down, and we call our last timeout. Now they have a minute remaining to really just do whatever they want except turnover. I mean, I will take a turnover, but I doubt they'd want that. Probably should have just let them score there. Instead, time going to continue to tick here as they kind of surprisingly run a bit of a hurry-up offense. They have 3 timeouts. You think they would waste the time. We get a tackle in the backfield. Going to be something for the stat book, but that's about it there. Bobby Okereke and another in to get the tackle. And they'll call their first timeout. 3rd down coming up. It's 3rd and goal from the 5. 31 seconds remaining. They'll make an audible here. Change to a bunch to the top. Go for a run. And we'll get the stuff. They're not going to get a touchdown, but this clock is ticking. We have no timeouts, and all they need is a field goal to win this game. Now ticks down under 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, field goal up, and that's good. We will drop another game here. We had it in our hands for a majority of the game. We just couldn't put any offense together in the second half. Defense only really allowed some couple plays here and there, but nothing really big, but pretty evenly matched team, and we'll get another one in the loss column. And after simming on over to the next week, we see Justin Reed is actually a player of the week for the AFC here. 1 touchdown with 1 pick, so most likely a pick 6, 11 tackles total. Really good game from him. Of course, good game from him didn't really result in anything great for us. We dropped to 0-5. We will be simulating this Arizona game as they are 4-1 on the season, but we have a few other things to go through. Oh, and I even forgot to pop myself back on screen. Hello. Now I'm back. But yeah, we'll jump through some of these things. We have a prospect highlight, and I'm going to mute the game just because it likes to play music that it shouldn't be. We may want to take a deeper look at free safety Ben McKnight. He's standing out in terms of player IQ. They always say that. We'll take a look at, was it McKnight? If he's from California, we'll take a look at him. We do need safety help, but I don't believe there was a free safety available to us. And no, Ben McKnight is actually a Michigan player, so not an option for us to pick him up. But we take a quick look at him. 6 foot, 201, 22 years old. Good size. Has some speed, has some strength. Not very quick, nor agile. Skills, though. He can tackle and he could rush the passer, I guess. But not much in terms of actual free safety stats. But there you go, GM. We took a look at him. We also have 2 messages about breakout players. So let's take a look, see who those are. That's going to be Tack McKinley. Coach, you really let me... it moved. So I lost track of where I was reading. Coach, you've really let me play to my instincts recently, and I can't thank you enough. Last week was one of my best performances I've had since college. You've kind of a little bit of a bust. If I can put together another game like that against the Cardinals, it'll go a long way towards establishing me as a leader on this team. And he just needs 1 tackle for a loss, forced fumble, interception, or a sack, or hold them to 250 or less yards. So hopefully he gets one of those tackle stats, because I doubt we will hold them to less than 250 yards. The other player is Justin Reed, who did have that pick and a touchdown. You know, Coach, the more tape I watch on Justin Reed, the more I think he's a superstar in the making. Did you see his touchdown last week? No, we didn't. That was in the simming of the first half. Obviously, we didn't score in the second. Keep an eye on him against the Cardinals. If he continues to dominate, we might have something special back there in our secondary. Who knew, right? I mean, if you're a fan of Stanford, you knew. Hold the Cardinals to less than 150 passing yards, or get Justin Reed 2 interceptions, forced fumbles, tackles for loss, or sacks. He doesn't play much towards the line. I guess this year he is, because we moved him to strong safety, as the only option we had for free safety was Sherman, so see how that goes. But like I said, we are going to sim this week, so I will, do the weekly strategy and sim to the next week, and then we'll see if we're able to get any of those stats. And in true Madden chaotic fashion, we finally get our first win of the season. An 0-5 team goes in to play a 4-1 team, and we get the victory, 23-17. Let's take a look at our breakout player things as well, see what we got. Justin Reed had a pretty quiet game out there. You think I should have called the game differently, put him in a better situation. So it doesn't look like we got the dev boost for Justin Reed, unfortunately. But we did get the win, which is crucial. And then we also have to see about Tack McKinley. Wasn't an elite performance, and it's not for a lack of effort. But we still got the win. And we held them to 17 points, which is not bad considering our defense is only a 76 overall, at least currently. So let's jump into the schedule, and let's take a look about how that game went. I mean, obviously we know we got the victory, but how? And as we take a look here, we held them to no points in the first and third quarter. We did give up 10 in the fourth. Again, we didn't have a very good second half team. We actually went into overtime and won. We walked it off because we did not have an extra point there. So only 6 in OT. So we walked it off in OT. We started the game off a little bit more strong. 7 points in the first and in the second. Nothing in the third. We scored. I'm assuming I'm just going to say it was probably a late game field goal to tie it, send it into OT. You could probably hear my dogs barking in the background. And we definitely did not hold them to any sort of yardage. We didn't even get 250 or under for just passing. So, things we still need to work on. Baker Mayfield, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and a sack. Mills, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, sacked 3 times, but he was close to 300 yards passing. Rushing-wise, McCaffrey, 23 carries for 94 yards and a touchdown. They had Marlon Mack run for 10 total times, 42 yards and a touchdown. And Montgomery also had a little bit to run. He got another touchdown, or his first rushing touchdown, 14 yards on 4 carries. Anything else? Not really. Receiving, Simi Fehoko back in the starting slot. When Montgomery came back, the computer did put him as our starting slot guy, even though he's not a receiver now, and Fehoko's guy I specifically put there. So back in the starting, he gets 7 receptions, 104 yards, and a touchdown. Auden Tate was their best receiver with 95 yards, no touchdowns. They also had Hunter Henry go for 62. Tight ends always do well against me. Junior Generals, 60 yards on 4. Ertz had 65. JJ had 45. They also had Devontae Parker, only had 31 yards, so we did a nice job slowing him down. Also did a pretty good job of slowing down DK Metcalf. He did have 1 touchdown, but only 3 catches for 29 yards. Schultz had 22 yards. That's about it. No receiving yards at all for Christian McCaffrey, which is interesting. And then in terms of sacks, 1 for Andres Pete, Walker Little, and Mitchell Schwartzen at 4, but let up. And then Penei Sewell? Not sure. He gave up 1 for the Cardinals. On defense, we'll just look at our stats here. And we were led in tackles by Bobby Okereke. Tackles for loss. Didn't have a single one. That's not very good. And it said we had 1 sack, and that goes to Solomon Thomas. So that's 2 games in a row he's had a sack. And there were no interceptions. By chance, did we have any forced fumbles? I do see a mark for 1. If it'll show it to us. Justin Reed, so he did force a fumble, but he would have needed to force 2, I believe, to get that upgrade. So came close, but not quite there for Justin Reed. But of course, our first victory of the year comes a lot sooner than it did in the previous year. I think it was actually week 8 or 9 that we got our first victory in the last season against the Broncos, who will be the next game following this Raiders one. We've gone through 2 games. We'll probably watch the 4th quarter or so of this Raiders game. We'll see what the score looks like by then. And then we're going to watch most of the Broncos game, as if we can stay close to them this week, we might be able to jump up above them in the AFC West standings. So some important games here with the Raiders, who are just, looks like 1 game up on us. The Broncos are just half a game up on us. So some big games coming up, and we need some victories. And we are jumping in here to the 4th quarter of the Raiders game, and so far, looking pretty good. Gonna knock on wood. We're up 31-13 to start the 4th. They do have, I believe it's Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, Josh Jacobs at running back. So they have a lot of talent for sure, but so far we found a way to make it work for us, as we are up pretty big. Obviously, if you would just flip the scores that either of us have, so 31, switch that over to 13, we would have each other's score. It's always fun. I don't know. That's just kind of fun things that I see that I laugh at sometimes. So that's a little bit about me. But yeah, we're looking pretty good in this game so far. They come out in an empty set. 3 to the top, 2 to the bottom. Aaron Rodgers is going to be passing the ball here. It's going to find an open Josh Jacobs. That's 2 plays in a row. This time, though, not a first down. Going to be a gain of 7, however. And from the stats that I've seen so far for Rodgers, I mean, looks pretty good. So good job for our defense of only holding them to 13 points for sure. Of course, we do have some interesting lineup that we have out there right now. Sometimes with 3-4 defenses, they just line up strangely. And that is a dropped pass. I believe Odell Beckham Jr. was the intended receiver. They're going to come out and again, empty set. 4 to the bottom. They're going to dump that off to 85. Is that Tanyan? Kind of the only receiver I could think of with long hair that pops. Or did I say receiver? Only tight end with long. Yep, and that is Tanyan. So nailed it. And that completion will move the chains. They're staying out in an empty set here. Looks like they do have Jacobs out at receiver, though. Going to check down to number 13, who gets the completion. Should be another first down. And it is down to the 36. 6 minutes remaining in this game. And they are down quite a bit. They need a few touchdowns to go their way in a short amount of time. Rodgers is going to step up, chuck it deep, and we just got mossed. We got mossed. I believe that was Reed. Got mossed by Christian Kirk in the end zone. Gonna lessen our lead 31-20 with a made extra point. Well, not exactly the drive we wanted to see for our first of this game, but let's see if our offense can put something together here. They've done pretty well the rest of the game. Christian McCaffrey gets a run on first down. He's at 15 carries, 72 yards on the day, so not awful. Would like to see some touchdowns. We're going to come out in a tight formation here. Play action. Get some good block pickups, and we're going to find Junior Generals to the 48 first down, 3 touchdowns on the day for Mills. Does have 1 interception. I would like to see after the game who all has those touchdown receptions. I'm hoping Junior Generals has at least some, maybe Simi Fehoko. So we're going to hand the ball off to McCaffrey, who's going to shove a guy off of him, maybe get a gain of 1 or 2. Actually combine those 2 numbers, gain of 3. So we're going to come out in a 2 tight end and fullback, a very heavy set. Interesting play design, and we're just scooting forward and then falling down for a gain of about 3. Down to the 40. 3 under about a little over 3.5 minutes. Just stumble around with time there. Good cutback from McCaffrey. And then an interesting animation to end it. 18 rushes, 87 yards. He's putting in the work here today. Would like to see a touchdown for him to cap off a pretty good game. We'll come out with a heavy set, 2 tight ends, and looks like Junior General stacked at the line as well. Play action. Gonna find a guy. That's Junior Generals. Another first down. 28 of 36 on the day for Davis Mills. Not bad. Not bad at all. We'll come out with a tight formation here. Maybe 2, looks like 2 receivers at the bottom, tight end, and another receiver at the top. We're letting this clock drain a bit. We're going to just dump it off. McCaffrey going to get about 3-ish yards on the first down catch. 375 passing yards for Davis Mills. I think probably the most we've seen from him to date. At least definitely in a watched game for sure. And there is the 2-minute warning, so not a whole lot of time left. We're in scoring range. We'll at least be tacking on a field goal, you would hope. Make it 14 points at the least. Again, knock on wood, don't want to see a turnover. Hand it off McCaffrey down the middle, going to roll over a Raider. Get close to the first down as they call their first timeout. And that'll bring up a first and goal at the 6. 1:56 remaining. We're going to hand it off again. McCaffrey right down the middle. And timeout. It was close, but didn't quite break the plane. At least that's what the refs say. So on second and goal from the inches mark. Come out in a heavy formation here. No one blocked. And yet, McCaffrey still finds his way in. Second, third effort from him. Slapping his chest saying, "It's all on me." And we get into the end zone. Going to make this 38-20. Nail basically in the coffin. And with not much time remaining and a lot of scoring that the Raiders need to do, of course, they do have Rodgers, so don't want to put it out of play here, but should be enough to call this game done. So we are under a minute. Will be our first back-to-back wins. Interception, Richard Sherman. That will do it for us. we'll just jump ahead to the end of this game, celebrate the first back-to-back victories in this series. We've won 4 games last year, never back-to-back. I think they were about 1 game spaced out from each other in the last season. This season, we got our first victory last week against the Cardinals, straight to our second victory here against division rival Raiders, who were a half a game up above us. This should get us above them. Finally won't be in last place. And with such a dominant win there, definitely need to take a look at the stats. Davis Mills, passer rating 124.6, 375 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Did have the 1 interception, but 78% completion percentage. Fantastic. In terms of rushing, McCaffrey goes for 21 carries, 100 yards, and a touchdown. We did a pretty good job of limiting Josh Jacobs, only 9 carries, 38 yards, no touchdowns. Rodgers didn't have much either. Mills really didn't have much. Montgomery got a few carries, and then Patrick Laird came in for 1 carry, 4 yards, and a touchdown. Receiving-wise, Zach Ertz has a big game, 11 catches, 145 yards. We do give up 2 catches for touchdowns to Christian Kirk. We did see one of those when he mossed Justin Reed. He gets 111 yards as well. Chanyan, 41 yards. Junior Generals, though, 73 yards. So steadily doing pretty good, at least in yardage. Doesn't always get the touchdowns, but speaking of touchdowns, Simi Fehoko, 84 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. Really nice game from him. Need to see that more consistently. JJ gets 32 yards on 3 catches. McCaffrey gets into the passing game a little bit as well. And Ty Montgomery still catching passes for touchdowns. This one, just 1 for 8 yards, but does give us the points. Up front, Schwartz does give up 3 sacks, so not looking too good. Perhaps after this episode, we bring in one of our rookie tackles to take over for Schwartz. We'll take a look at the rating, or not the ratings, but the stats at the end of this episode, and just see how everyone's doing if we need to make some adjustments. But Schwartz gives up 3 sacks. Dawkins, Marpet, and Cannon all give up a sack for the Raiders. On defense, again, we'll just take a look at our stats. And it doesn't have them in order. Richard Sherman leads us in tackles with 8. He did have that pick to seal the game off at the end. Tackles for loss, Casey Toohill and Tack McKinley. Sacks, 1.5 for McKinley, 1 for Martinez, and then half for Solomon Thomas. So 3 games in a row where Solomon Thomas has a stat recorded in sacks. Not always a full, but still getting sacks. And then, of course, Richard Sherman did have that interception. And forced fumbles. Anyone laying the wood? No. No big hits. How about kicking on the day? Fairburn, not bad. Did miss a field goal. Luckily, we didn't need it. And following that victory, back-to-back victories, we are now up to 3rd place in the AFC West. The Raiders and us, we have the same record, but we do have that victory over them, which gives us that boost. Now this week, we have the Broncos, who just sit half a game ahead of us at 2-4. If we could get the victory here, that'll bump us up to 2nd place. Of course, unless something disastrously happens to the Chiefs, we will not really be chasing 1st place. They are 7-0 on the season, and we will be facing them off to start the next episode. But Broncos is still an important game, because obviously last season we finished last in the AFC West, and we spent most of the season there as well. We're about midway through-ish, and now we're at 3rd, so we're making some progress for sure. We want to see that continue, and a win against the Broncos will definitely help us do that. So we're going to watch bits and pieces of the whole game rather than just parts of the second half. And I just realized it was paused. The recording was paused, so not sure what all has been seen. Junior Generals at least gets a completion here. Good timing to come in for that as we are driving here with 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter. If I haven't recorded any of this game, which I'm not sure if I have or not, haven't missed much. First drive, we drove down the field, got a field goal. And then the next drive, we got another field goal. Denver also got a field goal in between. And that's about all that's happened. We're going to take the sack there. Oh, there was Tack McKinley had a sack fumble. We didn't recover it. I think we also had gotten sacked and fumbled it, but we recovered it. So pretty balanced game so far. Unfortunately, with that sack, going to be a 2nd and 17, trying to set up a screenplay there to Christian McCaffrey, but Oliver in to get the sack. And with 1:20 remaining, we got a lot of yards we need to go before we can get some points on the board. Going to dump it off to McCaffrey, who makes a guy miss, but also eats quite a bit of time in the process. Mills, though, only 1 incompletion on the day, so looking pretty solid for him. 10 for 11, 104 yards, so not a lot of yards, a lot of short passing here today. And we will take our first timeout with some odd amount of time left, under a minute, I'm assuming. Or exactly a minute. We have 2 timeouts remaining. Denver has 3, 1 minute remaining in this second quarter here. So we're going to dump it off again. Schultz going to get forward for about 3, but not really what you're looking for on 3rd and 11. 4th and 7, looks like we will be punting this one away. 47 seconds remaining. And we'll see if Jake Bailey can bomb this one deep and just prevent really anything from happening. I always hate when it goes slow there, but a good punt from Bailey down into the end zone. Going to be a touchback, but 14 seconds remaining. And we'll see what happens. We'll just go ahead and watch this last couple plays here. They come out in a heavy tight end set, so you would assume a run. We'll see. They do have Dalvin Cook, Jimmy G, Michael Thomas as their main guys. And Njoku also had an impressive first play, but again, I don't think I was recording. And that's it. We're going to head into halftime. Game close, 6-3. Very similar to our standings. Broncos 2-4. We are 2-5. Whoever wins this will secure that second spot in the AFC West for at least a week or so. And to start this second half, we'll just watch a little bit more of some quick sim here. And it looks like Broncos will start off with the ball. First play throwaway from Jimmy G, and then followed up by a 4-yard Jimmy G run. Pass knocked away by Lewis Marshall will force a punt. We should have some pretty good field position to start. Close to the 40, looks like 35. We'll continue to watch this in a little bit of a quicker pace here. JJ gets 7. He seemed to be coming on a little bit stronger here. Penalty, though, Walker Little, 2nd and 8. Christian McCaffrey goes for 11. Give us a first down. He gets 7 more. Another 2 more, 3rd and short coming up. And he'll get that for us plus. So far, basically how Christian McCaffrey, Junior Generals, gets a short reception, not one of his shortest, an interception. I believe that was a lineman that picked it off too, Tryon Shoyinka. Pretty sure he's either a end or maybe an outside backer. And for some reason, it's not letting me jump in to watch what's happening, so I guess we'll just continue to do this, and somehow we have the ball. But we are losing 10-6. I don't know what happened, but we are currently down 4. Big play Junior Generals. Also get our fullback involved, Simi Fehoko. And on 3rd and short, we get a 10-yard pass to JJ. We lose 1 to Christian McCaffrey on the second down run. All over the place here. We are now in the 4th, close to the red zone, 2nd and 5. Pass thrown away. 3rd and 5, another throwaway. Will be a field goal attempt here. No, we went for it and we threw it away. Too many times are we throwing this away. And now it'll finally let us watch a little bit here. See if our defense can make a play here. We need some points. Haven't scored anything since, I think, a first quarter. I don't know if we scored both of our field goals in the first quarter or if it was in the first and then the second quarter, but nothing in the second half for sure. As they're going to roll out here with Jimmy G, who's going to throw the ball to a wide open number 2. Luckily, Reed came crashing down to get the tackle, but that's Julio Jones with the first down. Honestly, a lot of big-name players for them only being 5-4, or not 5-4, 2-4 on the season. And on first down at the 50, a little bit past the 50, they have a bunch to the top. Going to be a pass here again. And this time, Adebo was all over him. Not sure if that is a catch or not. They do say that Jones caught that. Just dropped it after the whistle was blown, I guess. Empty set, 3 to the top, 2 to the bottom. Broncos go for another quick pass. Cook catches it. Martinez with the hit. That's another first down for the Broncos. And they will continue their drive here. 2 tight ends at the bottom, 2 receivers at the top. They go for another quick pass. Njoku with the reception. He's fighting forward. Seems to be what he's best at. Short receptions that he fights for some extra yards. 2nd and 2 with about 5 minutes remaining. They'll bring out a heavy set. 2 tight ends to the bottom, 2 receivers up top. And they're going to bring a receiver in motion, fake the handoff, fake the other handoff. And we have some guys putting pressure, but not able to get there in time. Pass thrown away out of the end zone. Jimmy G avoids the sack on 2nd and 2. 3rd and 2, however, they come out in a tight set. Still going for a pass. They have another wide open Julio Jones. Didn't have a single guy close to him. Easy pitch and catch for the first. And we're getting close to about 4 minutes left. They're at the 19. And plus, they're also up 4. So, not looking great here. Going to go for Cook, who gets the completion and about 5-6 yards, tackled by Bobby Okereke. And again, some tight formations here. They do have 1 tight end, a receiver up top, 2 receivers at the bottom. Go for a quick pass again. Those underneaths has been open all day. 11 with the completion. I believe that's Donovan Peoples-Jones, if I'm remembering correct from earlier in the game. 1st and goal at the 6. 3 minutes remaining. And we have a free rusher who gets there just a split second late. Jimmy G avoids another sack. That was Bobby Okereke, I believe, who came flying in. And this time they're going to dump it off again. This time to Michael Thomas, not in the end zone. 3rd and goal from the 2 coming up. And on 3rd and goal, we're going to bring, looks a little bit like some press coverage here. They have 3 receiving options up top and also Cook. So they're going to hand off, though, and he's in. Not a lot of time remaining for us to go down 11 points with a made PAT. And with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left in this game, our offense takes the field down 11. We will need a quick score and then to get the ball back almost immediately. Good way to start off this drive, though. Quick pass. I believe that's Fehoko, perhaps, that got that reception. Wasn't able to see, and now we're in the 2-minute warning, so last stoppage unless we could get out of bounds or use timeouts, but would like to save those for possibly defense. Davis Mills is going to go for the outside here, who finds Fehoko. Unfortunately loses a few yards after the reception. Gets a gain of only 5. We're going to come out in a tight formation here. A bunch at the bottom. Junior Generals alone up top. And we're going to go underneath Schultz, who's going to fight for close to the first down. We do get it, but the time is running here. Actually looks like we called our first timeout. So, not great there. Already down some timeouts. Still needing a lot more yardage. Going to find Colby Parkinson here. Haven't seen him out on the field much. And he'll be out here for a bit as we're in some hurry-up offense. And we go for either him or Ertz again. Fortunately, that one falls incomplete. We'll stop the clock, which is somewhat helpful. Drop back again and just check down Christian McCaffrey. Quick tackle. Gonna just chew clock there. We only get a gain of a couple at most. As we go across the middle, and that will seal it. Interception number 41 of the Broncos. Zach Cunningham, who I believe forced a pretty good play earlier in the sim as well. But that'll just about wrap this game up. We will not be taking second place in the AFC West, as we will be dropping this one at home. And Jimmy G will kneel it down, making this one final. We were able to win 2 of 4 games today, 2 of which back-to-back, something we haven't done before, especially by such a large margin in that second victory. But would have liked to made it 3 here. It was possible, just weren't able to make the final couple plays necessary. even though we had a better game, just turnovers cost us here, as they seem to always do with games on this channel. But yeah, so some improvements definitely were made. Like to keep adding on to them, get a few more victories. Goal is 7 on the season, so we'll see if we're able to do that in the next couple episodes. And that'll wrap up all of the games of this episode. Next episode will be a big one. Kansas City Chiefs, obviously they're number 1 in our division right now, 8-0 on the season. We'll probably just end up simming that one and seeing if we could find some more victories against the 49ers, Rams, and Bills, who made a sneak preview in this episode. Again, I don't know if that was on recording or not when the game randomly just put their logo on the screen. But yeah, so some big games coming up. Obviously, we've got 2 more victories earlier in this season than we have previously. And I'd like to just wrap up by talking a little bit about the stats, where we're at this season, if there's any changes we need to make. Offense is 18th ranked, so definitely improved from the first season. And then 24th defense, so I feel like that's about the same. Now let's take a look at the individual stats. Davis Mills has some really good games and then has some bad games. So far on the season, he's at 2,100 yards for 9 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 65% completion percentage, but he's also been sacked 22 times, so he's getting hit quite often. In terms of rushing, McCaffrey is averaging about 4 yards a rush, so not bad, and he has 5 touchdowns. But our next best rusher is Mills, with 15 attempts for 37 yards, and he's fumbled 3 times, so not great. Patrick Laird has got out there a little bit. He has 2 touchdowns. Ty Montgomery has a touchdown rushing, same as Simi Fehoko. So we're using Fehoko a lot more, I feel, this season, which is good for his development. Receiving-wise, Junior General's definitely leading the way. Only 1 touchdown on the season. Would like to see that get boosted, but 577 yards, not bad at all, averaging about 72 yards a game. Ertz doing pretty well as well. JJ definitely stepping up a bit this season, 341 yards, 2 touchdowns. Simi Fehoko, our leading touchdown reception guy, with 4. He also has 335 yards out of the slot. McCaffrey getting involved a little bit. He does have a receiving touchdown, 168 yards. Schultz, 72 yards, no touchdowns. Montgomery also has a receiving touchdown. And then a little bit more sprinkled throughout. In terms of blocking up front, who is giving up the most sacks? Still Walker Little, with Schwartz still giving up almost a sack a game. I know Walker Little's definitely struggled the past season and a half, basically now, with giving up a lot of sacks. So we might need to consider switching him with one of our rookie guys. And I've just realized I didn't bring myself back in here. So, hey, how's it going? Pop myself back in to wrap up this video here. But yeah, so might consider bringing in one of our rookie tackles, seeing if they do any better than Little. Just because he's given up a lot of sacks. Bobby Okereke leading the way with tackles for sure with 67. He also has 2 tackles for a loss. In terms of who's leading in that category, was Solomon Thomas with 6, and then 3 for Harrison Phillips and Everson Griffin, and then 2 for a handful of other players. Toohill, who's technically a starter, but only in our base package. So he's seeing a little bit more playtime, but not a whole lot more. In terms of sacks, Tack McKinley, a good signing for us, is now he's our leading sack artist, 5.5 so far this season. Solomon Thomas has 5, and then we're going to drop down to 2 for Harrison Phillips, 1.5 for Okereke, 1 for Griffin and Martinez. So Griffin really not producing a whole lot this year, unfortunately, and then half for Alualu and Michael Thomas, who really shouldn't see the field that often, if we're being honest. Interceptions, 2 for Reed, 1 for Martinez, Adebo, and Sherman. So not seeing as many turnovers forced so far for Paulson this year. And then forced fumbles, because I know we forced some. We have 1 for Reed, 1 for Adebo, and 1 for McKinley. And of those 3, we've only recovered 1. So not great there. Kicking wise, really good on extra points. He's making all of those. We have missed a few field goals, unfortunately, so not looking great for Fairburn, but he's also our only option at kicker. So not much we could do there. But that's about what it's looking like. Might make that change at tackle come the next episode. Let me know what you guys think. Should we give one of them a shot? I'll go ahead and pull them up so we could take a little bit of a look. And also you guys could see kind of what everyone's looking like in terms of development, what everyone's overall is at. If I go to the right screen here. So let's go to the adjust lineup. We can take a quick look as we wrap this episode up. But so far, this is everyone's overalls for offense. We still only have one X factor or one dev guy really starting at least on offense. For the tackles, we have a couple options. We have Hayes and Brian. Both of them are rookies. Brian does have hidden development, but he's not as good as our other tackle, kind of surprisingly, unfortunately. But he has some really good pass blocking ratings, so if we keep him at left tackle, the run block won't matter as much. So these are his ratings, his stats, I guess, whatever you'd prefer to call them. Definitely more of a pass blocker than a run blocker, but he can run block. And then the other option is Hayes, who is a few higher in terms of overall, but he's a little bit more balanced, has lower pass block, quite a bit more, 6 more, but then he does have about 6 more run block. Overall, though, pretty well balanced. Would like to get them out there fairly soon, whether it's in the last episode of the season or for the remainder of the season, kind of the options we have. In terms of Schwartz, who we know has been giving up some sacks for sure, we've seen it. These are his ratings, and honestly, they're not much different or better than the last tackle we looked at. His main thing that's boosting him up is his awareness. He's been in the NFL for a long time, so he's pretty smart. So we could definitely just switch out both tackles with our rookie tackles and see if we're able to do any better. It's definitely an option and something you could let me know down in the comments section below what you would like to see, and we'll try to do that. Besides there, not much else in terms of guys we could change around up front, but doing pretty solid. General's having a really good year. Hope he gets Rookie of the Year. Fehoko's also been playing really well. Over on defense, just so you could get a quick glimpse, defense is definitely a higher overall than our offense, or at least they look to be a lot higher overall. Our overall, in general, 60 or 76 across the board. But we have a few more dev guys with a few stars, some higher overall guys, higher, with Martinez and Phillips being 80, and then with Okereke at 82 and Reed at 85. So we have some higher overall guys, but our backups are pretty low. So it's kind of what drags down, I think, the defense overall. But that's where we're sitting at so far. Next week, like I said, is the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll probably sim that game and then get into a bit of the others, especially if we're a little bit closer in overall. But we also saw last year that the Broncos were having a great year, and that was our first victory. And they were probably having a similar year to the Chiefs are in this one. So that's about all we have for this one. Had some really good games. Honestly, could have possibly made it a 3-4 win game if some other things just went our way. But unfortunately, we don't have full control. That's the challenge here. But I hope you guys are enjoying this. And if you like more of a traditional franchise and you haven't seen my other one that I'm currently doing, I am doing a Vikings franchise. You can check that out as well. We're in Season 3. So at least I believe we're still in Season 3 by the time this goes out. I record this series in bulk and then record the other one in between the release of these, so timeline gets a little bit confusing, kind of like X-Men. But yeah, so I hope you guys are enjoying this series. If you are, let me know. Hit the subscription button, like. You can also share it to anyone that you know that's a fan of either the Pac-12 or just any school in California, and just let them see it, because it's fun seeing guys that you kind of grew up watching playing and just playing with them. So really fun. I hope you guys are enjoying, and until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.